Hey guys. Hi. What's up guys? How's it going, friends? Nice to see you here. Hey guys, Brandon Zerbe here to talk about posture. As work and entertainment become more and more digital, we're spending more and more time sitting. We're sitting when we're at work, we're sitting while we're in transit, and we're sitting when we're at home too. We're just always sitting. And as the body spends more and more time in a single position, it'll adapt to meet those demands. So just as a hockey player's hips will tend to tilt forward and rotate out to meet the demands of ice skating and handling a puck on the ice, just like this. I played hockey, that's exactly how I did it. Office workers will experience the same thing, with their hips constantly being flexed from being in a sitting position, and their shoulders and neck starting to round and come forward from constantly looking down at a laptop screen or a phone all day. This repeated act of sitting can cause certain muscles to become really tight, while the opposing muscles become weak and loose. And this not only makes it hard to get into good posture in the first place, but it can lead to chronic pain, acute injury, and a lack of overall mobility. So today I'm going to discuss the common postural issues that we see with desk workers, and I'm going to go over a 10 to 15 minute daily routine that you can do to not only prevent these issues from happening in the first place, but also correct postural issues that you may have. So let's get into it. So there are three main areas that the body tends to compensate in when we spend too much time sitting: the feet and ankles, the hips and lower back, and then the shoulders and neck. What tends to happen is we see ankle mobility being reduced, especially with dorsiflexion, so the foot being able to pull up towards the shin, especially in women who wear heels often. We also tend to see with the hips and lower back, the hips tend to tilt forward and then you get an arched lower back. And then with the shoulders and neck, you'll see the shoulders start to round and the neck and head start to protrude forward. And these are three common symptoms that we see a lot with desk workers. And these three conditions are known as pronation distortion syndrome, lower cross syndrome, and upper cross syndrome. And while I'm oversimplifying what these conditions are, they're the three most common syndromes that we see for people who spend a lot of time sitting. With these conditions, what we see is the muscles contracted most often while sitting tend to become short and tight, whereas the opposing muscles become weak and lengthened. This often leads to the body preferring bad posture because the muscle length and tension relationships have been altered. So the fix for this is relatively straightforward. First, we want to loosen those tight muscles through various stretches. And second, we want to strengthen those weak muscles through various exercises. So today we're going to do just that. I'm going to go over exercises and stretches that you can follow along with to correct the common issues that we tend to see with desk workers. And if you're interested in having me detail each one of these three syndromes and tests that you can perform to find out if you have them, let me know in the comments below and I can create future posts on just that. Otherwise, let's go. Let's get into the routine. You guys are coming too, let's go. All right, so let's start off by working on the mobility of our feet and ankles. What we're going to do is get into this half kneeling position. Each leg is at 90 degrees. Right leg is out front. Hands are going to come on that right thigh. We're going to press that right knee forward. Hold it for a couple seconds and then bring it back. So with this, we're going to do about 6 repetitions on each side. Right knee comes forward. Hold it for about a couple seconds. What we're trying to do is decrease that angle from our foot to our shin. Bring it back. So each time trying to get a little bit of a smaller angle, pressing that knee forward further and further each time. None of these stretches should be painful at all today, but they should be pressing your range of motion, trying to increase your range of motion for each one. We'll do one more of these, and then come to the other side. Like I said, about 6 on each side is what we're going to do. Left leg comes up front, right knee comes forward, hold it for a couple seconds, bring it back, left knee comes forward, hold it for a couple seconds, and then bring it back. We're going to do about 4 more of these. Try to decrease that angle at the ankle. Bring it forward, hold it for a couple seconds, bring it back. It's usually this dorsiflexion that gets lost from sitting at a desk all day. So that's what we're going to be focusing on here today. Bring it back. We're going to do 1 more of these. Come forward, hold it for a couple seconds, and bring it back. Next, we're going to get into a push-up position. Shoot those hips up towards the ceiling. And then heels are coming down towards the floor. This is a calf stretch. Really starting to stretch out the calves, each one on both sides. We're going to hold this for about 30 seconds. Hips are coming up towards the ceiling. Heels are coming down to the floor. Just starting to work on range of motion and ankle mobility here. We're going to hold it for a few more seconds. Then we'll get into our final stretch of the ankle and foot section. We'll come onto our knees, toes curl underneath the foot, and then we're just gonna sit back onto our heels. We're stretching out the plantar fascia, which is the midfoot, the bottom of the midfoot. And you can sit back further onto the heels to get deeper into that stretch. Again, shouldn't be painful, just trying to increase that range of motion. Again, we're gonna hold this for about 30 seconds. Toes are curled underneath, stretching out both feet at the same time. Now we'll get into an exercise where we're working on dorsiflexion as well that's commonly overlooked. All right, so let's get into that first exercise. Legs are gonna come out front. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take that left foot and put it over the right foot. We're then gonna take that right foot and try to pull it up towards our shin as much as we can, and that left foot is gonna prevent the right foot from coming forward. So there's no motion with this exercise. It's an isometric exercise, which allows you to determine how much force you wanna try to generate with that right foot. So that right foot is pulling up towards my shin. The left foot is preventing it, but I can feel it on the right shin. This is the anterior tibialis being worked here. And you can control, again, how much pressure you want to do. We're going to hold it for about 30 seconds. Now we're going to switch sides. So right foot comes onto the left. I'm going to try to bring that left foot to that left shin. Should be able to feel that left anterior tibialis on the front being worked. So many times with exercise programs, you'll be doing a lot of calf strengthening with calf raises and things like that, but you never work on these muscles in the front of the shin, which can help out with ankle mobility. It can help out with decreasing knee injuries, and really help out with posture as well. It's surprising how much the ankles can affect the way your hips align and your shoulders align to the rest of your body. So now that we're done with the feet and ankles, next thing we're gonna do is start to work the hips and lower back. So we're gonna come back into this half kneeling position. First thing we're gonna do, right leg comes out front. First thing we're gonna do is tuck the butt underneath. That's gonna start to stretch out this left hip flexor. Then we're gonna take that left arm over the top to the right side. So really lengthening out that left hip flexor, as well as the psoas and other muscles in the hips. Keeping that butt tucked underneath as much as we can. And we're gonna hold this for about 30 seconds, and then we're gonna switch sides. If you sit a lot, you're gonna have tight hip flexors, and this stretch is gonna feel really good. Hold this for a few more seconds, and then we're gonna switch sides. All right, let's switch. Left leg comes up front. Tuck that butt underneath as much as we can. That right hip flexor, you should feel it immediately. Right arm comes up and comes over to that left side. And for me personally, I've noticed that stretching out the hip flexors has probably made the biggest difference for me. When you spend so much time sitting all day, you're in this position where both hip flexors are just contracted the entire time. They can become tight. So that's why we're going through these stretches to loosen them up. Loosening up those hip flexors and a lot of those hip muscles. Next, we're gonna do some cat-cows. So we're gonna come down on all four to stretch out that lower and mid back. So what we're gonna do is breathe in and arch that back as much as we can down towards the floor. And then breathe out and arch in the opposite direction up towards the ceiling. That's one repetition. We're gonna breathe in and go back down. We're gonna do about 6 of these. Breathe out and arch the back up towards the ceiling for the second repetition. Come back down and arch. This is great for the lower back, great for the mid back. Breathing out and coming up to the top. Breathing in, arching the back as much as we can down to the floor. This is the cow position. And then breathing out, arching up to the top. This would be considered the cat position. That's why they call it cat cows. Bring it back down. We're going to do 2 more of these. Arch down to the floor. Arch back up to the top. We'll do 1 more. Breathe in. Arch down to the floor. Breathe out. Arch up toward the ceiling. Next, we'll get into a couple strengthening exercises to work on these hips and the lower back. First thing we're going to do, lay down on our back. Our feet are going to come underneath towards our butt. Then we're just going to do some bridges. Those hips are going to shoot up towards the ceiling. We're going to hold it for a second, and then we're going to come down. Hips shoot up towards the ceiling. Hold it for a second, and then we're going to come down. We're going to do 10 repetitions of these. These are just called glute bridges. And what we're doing is we're activating the glutes and the hamstrings. Come back down, bring them back up, which are almost always weak in nearly everybody, especially in people that sit at desks for most part of the days. Back down, come up, hold it for a couple seconds, bring it down, and come back up. Hold it for a couple seconds. Like I said, we're going to do about 10 of these. Come up, hold it for a couple seconds, bring it back down. Come up and hold it for a couple seconds, bring it back down. Each time, shooting those hip ups toward the ceiling, tightening those glutes and hamstrings, bringing it back down. We're going to do one more of these. Hips come up towards the ceiling, hold it for a couple seconds, and bring them down. Next, we're going to strengthen the core. So what we're going to do is get into a dead bug position. Hands come straight up towards the ceiling, legs come off the floor at 90-degree angles. We're going to take that right arm and that left leg and extend them out all the way, and then bring them up to the top. We're then going to take the left arm, the opposite arm, and opposite leg back down and up. That's one repetition. We're going to be doing 10 of these. So come down and up, down and up. That's 2. Down, up, down, up. 3, 7 more to go. So this is working the entire core with these move here, working the abdominals, working the obliques, working the transverse abdominis, a lot of the stabilizer muscles, coming up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Keep going. We'll do a few more of these. Like I mentioned, we're going to do about 10 of them all together. Up, down, up. Lower back should be flat on the floor the entire time. Let's go through one more repetition of each. Then we'll be done with the hips and lower back area. All right, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to stay on the floor, lay down. And what we're going to do is open up the chest. Arms come out into a field goal position. Lower back is on the floor. Elbows come down towards the floor. Hands come down towards the floor. And what we're doing here is we're tucking the chin to stretch out those neck muscles. That's why the neck constantly protrudes out forward if you sit at a desk a lot, as well as starting to open up the chest by letting those arms fall down to the floor, the elbows and the hands coming down to the floor. We're going to hold this for about 30 seconds. What can pull those shoulders forward are tight chest muscles. So that's why we're down in this position, just loosening up those chest muscles. And if this is too easy, if those arms are already flat on the floor and you're not feeling a stretch, what you can do, which I'll show you with this next stretch, is put a foam roller down your spine, and you should be able to get deeper into it. So let's get into that next stretch. I'll show you here with a foam roller. If you have one and the stretch is too easy, you can use a foam roller. So a foam roller should go straight on the tailbone. You'll lay down, right down to the spine, down to the head. And let's just have our arms straight overhead and let them fall down towards the floor. We're really letting gravity do a lot of this work. Tucking that chin in again as well. Stretching out those neck muscles. With these arms falling down towards the floor, what we're doing here is we're stretching out the lats, which are right below our shoulder on each of our sides. And as you know, if you're working at a desk all day, if you're typing on a keyboard, your elbows are constantly down by your sides. This can cause those lats to become tight. And so what we're doing right now is just laying down, stretching out those lats by letting those arms fall overhead. Arms should be straight as they can be, straight above your head, letting them fall down. And we're just holding it for about 30 seconds. And then we'll come into our last exercise where we start to strengthen these muscles that can hold our shoulder and our neck back. All right, so let's get into that final exercise. If you have a foam roller, you can toss it to the side. We're gonna come down and do some snow angels. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay down. Arms come down by the side. Feet are planted on the floor. Now we're just gonna lift our chest about an inch off the floor. Arms come up as much as possible. Then we're gonna take those arms and come all the way to the top. And then bring them all the way back down to the side. Come all the way to the top. And back down to the side. We're gonna do about 10 of these. The feet should stay on the floor the entire time. Really tucking in that neck, looking straight down at the floor. This movement isn't designed to try to lift your chest off the floor as much as possible. It's more about trying to reach those arms back up towards the ceiling as much as possible. Trying to engage the upper to mid back to pull the arms and pull the shoulders back, as well as keeping that chin tucked, looking straight down to the floor, working the muscles that can hold our shoulders and our neck in a nice good position. Like I mentioned, we're gonna do about 10 of these. I'm gonna do one more, coming all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. And that's the routine. It's something that I do every single night. And if you find yourself any of these stretches are kind of tight or you're weak on any of these exercises, feel free to do them longer and you're gonna get better results. So here are my final thoughts. This 10 to 15 minute routine isn't gonna completely fix 23 hours and 45 minutes of bad posture throughout the day. You'll need to incorporate more movement, regular exercise, and an ergonomic desk setup to do that. But what this routine can do is it can start to loosen up those tight muscles that are constantly contracted from sitting, such as the chest, hip flexors, and calves. It can start to strengthen those weak and loose muscles that happen from sitting as well, such as the anterior tibialis, the glutes, the abs, and the mid to upper back. And over time, this routine will straighten out your feet, level out your hips, and pull your shoulders and neck back so that you can not only get into a proper posture easier, but you can maintain it for a longer period of time. Personally, I've been following this routine for the past 3 months and I've seen results. My posture has improved and my lower back and heels have never felt better. So if you spend a lot of time sitting like I do, then I recommend trying this routine out daily. Not only will it help correct postural issues that you may already have, but it can help prevent postural issues from happening in the future. And to me, that sounds like a life that's both healthier and happier. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. If you like this video, please let me know by hitting the like button. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Lastly, I offer a free health kit, which has my top 10 sleep tips, 1 whole foods plant-based recipe, and a mobility workout that you can stream on any device. That is free. There's a link down in the description for that. It also gets you signed up to my weekly newsletter, where I provide the 3 most important things that I've read, watched, and listened to within the past week. All of that completely free. Link down in the description if you're interested in that. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.